The Warriors are bad, or are they?
More work to do. It all starts with the goal.
See, while the Warriors have been a weird case of good, bad, and ugly throughout the majority of the season, there is still one big hope teetering on the horizon. We've seen this from the Warriors before in some ways, but this time, they've got a whole new blueprint that people are not talking about. So today, I'm going to be uncovering the 3 key pieces why the Warriors can hit another stride in their game, including the key under-the-radar players that are going to help make this all happen. Starting with the Warriors' new identity. It's the question many people are asking. Have the Warriors actually found a new blueprint with Draymond Green out of the way? Winning 5 games in a row after Draymond left the scene can't be a coincidence now, can it? See, the Warriors were 28th in the NBA in assist-to-turnover ratio in Draymond's last 6 games before suspension. The Warriors now rank in the top 15 since he was suspended. That's progress. They also went from an NBA worst 23.2 personal fouls per game to 10th best at 18.4, a number that would look even better had they not picked up 23 fouls and sent Nikola Jokic to the line 18 times in their 120-114 loss to the Nuggets. I mean, it got so bad that night that Steve Kerr came out and absolutely crucified the officiating.
I thought we played okay. I think we can play better, for sure.
While the Warriors lost a crucial element defensively after Draymond's suspension, a ton of upside has come with it. We know Klay Thompson couldn't throw the ball into the ocean earlier this season, and we also know that Andrew Wiggins, for long stretches, looked like he forgot how to play basketball. But a lot has changed since the lineup has shifted. Klay Thompson is shooting 42% from 3 as opposed to just 32% with Draymond playing. Andrew Wiggins was averaging just 11 points on 27% shooting with Draymond on the court this season, and the last I checked, he's kind of been on a tear over the last 2 weeks of December, averaging 16 points and shooting an insane 47% from three-point range. But why exactly has Draymond's absence unlocked 2 important pieces like Klay and Wiggins? Well, the thing is, the Warriors have struggled much of the season trying to figure out what combinations of lineups will work best. And through all the shuffling and the changing of roles, Klay and Wiggins seemingly found it the most difficult to adjust. And with the addition of CP3, the Warriors were often juggling 2 facilitators in the offense with him and Draymond, often causing guys to step on each other's toes. Now that Draymond is away, CP3 has been able to slide into his role a lot smoother. And with Steve Kerr often staggering his minutes to get some time with the second unit and some time with Steph Curry, the Warriors found a little something in there that helped them pull off a mini win streak where they showed flashes of how dominant they can be if all the pieces are in the right spot. And this is exactly the blueprint that has worked significantly better for the Dubs. Well, apart from a couple of surprise names stepping up, which we'll dive more into in the next piece. But as far as what we've seen from the Warriors in their semi-new look without Draymond, the evidence is clear. See how the Warriors are able to play a different brand of basketball, particularly in the full court and in transition. Without Draymond in, other guys like Jonathan Kuminga get an opportunity to really shine. And because Kuminga is an athletic slasher, the Warriors are able to get the ball up ahead much quicker and can get points in transition, something that hasn't exactly been in their means of offense in the past. Same thing on this play.
Steph came to help nicely, and then Looney knocked it away. Klay on the run out. Klay to beat 2 defenders to put it in.
Quick possessions like these off a rebound and outlet is a very viable form of offense for the Warriors with these young guys on the court. Now, I know that Klay finished the layup, and he isn't exactly young, but the pace for the Warriors has clearly gone up in the past few games, which has helped their offense. But speaking of helping the offense, that was only one dimension for the Warriors as they updated their scheme. See, like I hinted at a little earlier, there are a couple key names that have truly increased the momentum in Golden State in other big ways. Brandon Podziemski and Trayce Jackson-Davis are providing the Dubs a spark the team hasn't had in years. I know, I may be a little late to the party, but it needs to be said nonetheless. These 2 young guys for the Warriors have a lot to do with the Warriors still hovering around the 500 mark. I mean, without them, I don't know where the Dubs would have been, and the thing is, these guys truly feel like they belong and are already ingrained into that strength in numbers culture. At just 20 years old, with a ton more to grow and develop, Podziemski is already taking responsibility for losses. Even though, let's face it, he's not really all that responsible, but it's that leadership, that winner's edge and mentality. Trayce Jackson-Davis, the 57th overall pick, is averaging 11 points on 73.5% shooting, nearly 9 rebounds, a couple of assists, and 1 block in around 20 minutes a night post Draymond suspension. He and Podziemski are competing for the title of the Warriors' nicest surprise of the season. These two rookies rank 1-2, respectively, in net rating among all players in their draft class who average at least 10 minutes per game. That is hugely impressive. But how exactly have these two been such seamless additions to the Warriors scheme? Well, Podziemski, this kid looks like a seasoned veteran already. And this is because his play style is the literal epitome of the Warriors' offensive bread and butter. His basketball IQ is stunning for such a young player. Watch how he gives the ball up to Klay on the perimeter and is able to slide down and screen off Klay's man to facilitate an open three-pointer. On this play, see how he is able to remain patient and read the defense before making the pass? Instead of being rushed into a quick decision or a bad pass, Podziemski waits and makes the right play. Awareness like that, you can't teach. It comes organically. And the other thing is, he shoots the ball so well at around 41%, making him a seamless fit next to guys like Steph Curry and Chris Paul, who exert so much pressure on the defense with their penetration into the lane and their ability to kick the ball out for an open three. And not only that, Podziemski is almost Steph Curry-esque in his unique ability to move off the ball so quickly and so efficiently. Watch him on this possession, how he is so acutely aware enough to use the threat of Steph Curry to get an open layup. When the two defenders commit to Steph Curry on the perimeter, Podziemski senses the defense collapsing on Steph and is able to slip inside and get an easy deuce without his shooting, playmaking, and ability to move off the ball. Steve Kerr would be playing him minimal minutes. Instead, Podziemski is making his own case that he was the steal of last year's draft. And on the other hand, Trayce Jackson-Davis has provided the team with another Jonathan Kuminga-type player who is energetic, a willing rebounder, and someone who gets out in transition. I mean, these rookies have such a great connection already that they're pulling off plays like prime Magic and Kareem. While he's not yet a back-to-the-basket scorer, that's actually a good thing for the Warriors because they've never featured a player who is a space and ball leader down low. Instead, Jackson-Davis's skill set plays into the Warriors' hands with his ability to set screens and roll to the basket. And if Jackson-Davis can consistently provide offense off the screen and roll, that'll open up so much offense for the Warriors shooters, and particularly Chris Paul, who's always been at his best with an athletic pick and roll guy. See, if the rest of the Warriors can play at the level which they've shown in spurts, then what do you think will happen if you throw in arguably the game's greatest point guard ever into the mix and let him cook? Number 30 is at it again, even through all the losing and drama. And that's what piece 3 is all about. If Steph Curry gets help, it's a scary sign for the rest of the NBA. I often sit back and reminisce over the old Steph Curry, and then I wondered why Steph Curry's sheer dominance isn't translating to more wins like it has in the past. And that was a fair question to ask, given all the losing that's going on in Golden State, coupled with how incredibly well Steph was playing. I mean, here's the thing. Steph Curry is nearly 36 years old. And if someone asked me back when Steph was 28 years old how effective Steph would be as a 36-year-old, I, like most people, would probably either say he'd be retired or playing minimum minutes coming off somebody's bench. But guys, in Steph Curry's unanimous MVP season, he shot 50% from the floor and 45% from the three-point line, and also had a true shooting percentage of 67%. And to put that in perspective, Rudy Gobert is the all-time leader in true shooting percentage at 67%. And below Gobert is DeAndre Jordan, who scored nothing but dunks in his entire career. But Steph Curry, who attempted more than 800 three-pointers in the 2015-16 season, had as good of efficiency numbers as a 7-footer who only dunks the ball. But what does that have to do with today, you ask? Well, allow me to explain something mind-blowing. For the first month of the NBA season, before the Warriors hit adversity with all the losing, Steph Curry had a remarkable 68% true shooting percentage, showing no signs of slowing down in his 15th year in the NBA. Steph Curry at 36 is having maybe his single most efficient season ever, despite the fact that he's taking the highest volume of threes in his 15-year career, with over 63% of his shots coming from three-point range. Look, this is the same guy who just months ago carried the worst road team in basketball to a Game 7 win in Sacramento, scoring 50 points in dominant fashion. I ask you this: if the Warriors can continue to round into form with no more Draymond Green, and if Clay and Wiggins continue to find their footing, and if these young guys like Podziemski, Kuminga, and Jackson Davis and the crew continue rounding into form, what do you think a player like Steph Curry can do when the pieces around him are doing what they're supposed to do? The bottom line is, after another loss at the hands of the Dallas Mavericks to end 2023, the Warriors still looked pressed with several issues. But I just broke down the amazing potential of this team when it doesn't have a huge distraction like Draymond Green in the middle of it all. Moving Andrew Wiggins to the bench has given him a different perspective that has worked so far. Klay Thompson has seemingly played a lot better with no Draymond and Wiggins being relocated to the bench. The young guys are playing with that fire and desire. All it takes is some consistency, and the Warriors can be right in the thick of things. What are your thoughts and feelings about the Warriors' changes to their game plan and lineups? And tell me if you think the young players can continue their push and help the Dubs string together a bunch of wins. Should anyone actually be counting out the Warriors?